There's something about the blend of fame, power, and scandal that weaves an irresistible narrative.
Is being Puff.
And when it comes to one of hip-hop's most iconic figures, Sean Diddy Combs, the mix of criminal charges, wiretaps, leaked audio, and courtroom battles feels almost tailor-made for a true crime saga.
Audio has surfaced as part of a lawsuit that accuses Christian Holmes, Sean Diddy Combs' son, of sexual assault. The music mogul is not accused of sexual assault in the lawsuit, but is included over allegations of liability and aiding and abetting. The lawsuit cites audio from a makeshift recording studio on the yacht where the alleged assault happened. This is the latest in a series of lawsuits filed against the rap mogul and businessman. Both men, father and son, deny the allegations against them. CNN national correspondent Camila Bernal joining me live with details on this. Camila, what more are you learning?
Hey, Fred, so in this audio that CNN has listened to, you can specifically hear the accuser who alleges that she was being forced to take this tequila shot that she believed was laced with drugs.
In a moment of high-stakes courtroom drama, Diddy's legal battle appears to have hit a breaking point. With new audio leaks surfacing, one question lingers: has Diddy finally cracked?
Sources indicate that the 55-year-old rapper experienced a meltdown while incarcerated at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, New York, where he was taken for observation due to mental instability. The music mogul, arrested in September on charges including racketeering, conspiracy, and trafficking, was reportedly hoping to secure bail by now. Spending the holidays behind bars was a nightmare for him, an insider told The Sun, noting that Combs managed to regain composure through meditation and deep breathing, although it took several hours to calm himself. Contrastingly, another source dismissed the meltdown claim, emphasizing that the father of 7 has remained resilient amidst serious allegations. A legal expert highlighted the significant disparity between Combs' previous lavish lifestyle and his current circumstances, stating the stark contrast.
On the morning of September 16, 2024, Sean Diddy Combs, a giant in the music industry, was arrested on serious charges.
The U.S. Justice Department unsealed charges against Combs on Tuesday that alleged he abused, threatened, and coerced women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. Prosecutors said that Combs, that's P. Diddy, that's his real name, carried out his scheme by relying on the employees, resources, and influence of the multifaceted business empire that he led and controlled, creating a criminal enterprise whose members and associates engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other crimes, sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. Prosecutors say that in times relevant to the indictment, Combs engaged in persistent and pervasive pattern of abuse towards women and other individuals. The abuse was at times verbal, emotional, physical, and sexual.
Racketeering, sexual abuse, and sex trafficking were just the beginning, painting a grim picture of power, control, and exploitation within the entertainment industry.
Sure, so I think we all saw those headlines back in November 2023 of Cassie Ventura filing her lawsuit against P. Diddy. That's what got all of this steam rolling. And I've been following the case since then. And obviously we've seen in recent months, there have been so many lawsuits against Diddy accusing him of drugging, and more than 40 of those. And a lot of them do date back to the 90s. So I've been looking into that area of his career in particular, trying to find out more about the makings of P. Diddy, or Puff Daddy, as he was known back then, and trying to find out from people who used to work with him and people in his inner circle, were there potentially early warning signs about some of the allegations that we're seeing now? And as I mentioned, some of these allegations of drugging and assault do go right back to the start of his career in the 1990s.
It's not just the case itself that's capturing attention, it's the steady drip of new revelations, fueling both suspicion and intrigue.
Told you from the jump that baby oil was a big thing in the whole Diddy scandal, that the Fed seized 1,000 bottles of baby oil.
And it is the thing that people have talked so much about because it was such a bizarre...
So odd. And remember, we spoke with Mark Agnifilo, his lawyer, on one of our documentaries, The Downfall of Diddy, on Tubi. And we asked him about it, and he didn't quite know what to say about it.
He kind of made a joke
about it. Right. But now, we know at least what one of the accusers in a civil lawsuit,
A brand new accuser.
a brand new one, is saying the purpose of the baby oil, and it's not what we thought.
No, this accuser, who is filed as a John Doe, says that the baby oil was laced.
A newly surfaced audio recording has set social media ablaze with debate. Though not officially verified, the clip is believed to feature Diddy alongside high-profile figures like Meek Mill and Beyoncé discussing the allegations surrounding the rapper.
Beyoncé's audio leak admits participation in Diddy's parties. Are these signs she was involved all along? Recently, an audio recording of Beyoncé was accidentally leaked, revealing that she not only admitted to frequently attending Diddy's parties, but also claimed that those who were harmed weren't entirely innocent. She stated that everyone who attended the parties did so voluntarily, insisting that no one was forced. She even suggested that any harm they suffered was ultimately their own doing.
It's not just the content of the audio that captivates listeners and raises eyebrows, it's the timing of the leak, arriving at a critical moment in Diddy's trial preparations.
Now, the emergency hospital visit came just hours after federal prosecutors slapped him with a superseding indictment in his federal sex trafficking RICO case, adding 2 more victims and extending the time period for investigators from 2008 going back to 2004, meaning they have 4 more years in order to continue investigating possible additional allegations. Now, all of this taking place, as it seems every week, there's another docuseries or documentary being cranked out about Diddy, which criminal defense attorneys who try cases in the Southern District here at the federal courthouse tell me can possibly taint potential juries that are going to hear this case when it gets going in May. Now, he will be back in the criminal case here in this courthouse in about 2 weeks.
Could this latest audio leak be the breaking point that finally shatters the enigmatic facade of hip-hop's most powerful mogul?
P. Diddy leaves the Metropolitan Detention Center jail in Brooklyn. New reports say he was taken to the hospital for a few hours last week to get an MRI. We're just now learning about this, though, because Diddy was taken from the jail late at night, actually using the cover of darkness to keep his trip on the down low.
In one of the most gripping true crime sagas to make headlines, Sean Diddy Combs finds himself entangled in a case that defies expectations and shakes the very foundation of celebrity power.
The lawsuits against Sean Diddy Combs continues to stack up, and it should be no surprise at all who the latest batch is coming from. That, of course, being Texas-based attorney Tony Buzbee. Now, Buzbee made his mission clear back in October that his firm planned to file more than 100 lawsuits against the disgraced mogul. But now he's in a rush to meet a March 1st deadline. Why? Because that's the last day the law in New York allows victims of past sexual assault file civil lawsuits despite the statute of limitations being up. So let's break down the latest allegations. Now, we have to mention these accusers did not use their real names in the court filings. Instead, they are referred to as Jane or John Doe. In John Doe's complaint, he alleges he was drugged and sexually assaulted at an after-party in Los Angeles in 2015.
The courtroom drama unfolding in Manhattan's federal court has taken on a nearly cinematic quality, with each new revelation adding to the mystery surrounding Diddy's legal battles and his once untouchable legacy.
Let's continue our attention to a major headline taking place in New York City and the pretrial hearing continuing on in this Sean Diddy Combs case. A pretrial hearing taking place some 138 days before trial. Let's be joined right now here on the ground in New York by Fox 5's Lisa Evers. Lisa, thank you so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox. What can you tell us about what took place inside that courtroom today?
Well, Andy, everything so far is going very smoothly, but you can be sure that's going to change in the months ahead as they get close to that May trial date. But Sean Diddy Combs got a break today from the dismal lockdown atmosphere of the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn by appearing here in federal court for this pretrial hearing.
Though no conviction has been reached, the intensity of the proceedings suggests that the sheer weight of numerous allegations, some spanning 2 decades, is starting to wear on Diddy's composure.
Right, so Sean Combs' legal team has just raised, I would say, a new issue, sort of new issue to the court, and we're going to address it right now, and it concerns of all things, believe it or not, access to a laptop while he's in the Metropolitan Detention Center, the MDC, where he's currently locked up while he's waiting trial next year. And before I even go into the defense's letter, I said it was new, but really, this is an issue that has come up before. You see, Sean Combs' defense lawyers They have argued that the conditions at the MDC make it incredibly difficult for him to properly review evidence in the case and prepare for trial. And yes, he has a constitutional right to prepare for his trial. But they have been arguing for quite some time that because of the incredible amount of material in this case, you really can't do it without a laptop. He needs a laptop to review everything. I mean, this is a massive case.
Legal experts point out that high-profile courtroom dramas often spark emotional outbursts, shifting public perception and adding an element of unpredictability to the case. The latest indictment, which includes 3 counts accusing Diddy of trafficking and exploiting at least 3 women, casts a long shadow over his career.
Other artists and executives at the label would request for women across the states to be flown into the studio for sex.
It wasn't uncommon to fly women in from around the country. Well, not around the country, but they could be like a 2 or 3 hour flight away type of thing, to have sex with people in the studio.
Prosecutors claim that through his empire, including the iconic Bad Boy Entertainment, Diddy orchestrated what have been dubbed freak-offs, recorded sexual encounters that allegedly involved the exploitation of women, often with the complicity of male sex workers.
Defendant Sean Combs, a prominent entertainment mogul, exploited his power to sexually, physically, and psychologically abuse plaintiff over more than 5 harrowing years. Combs caused plaintiff's life to spiral into a living nightmare.
Further allegations suggest that Diddy used a cocktail of illicit substances, including cocaine, ecstasy, methamphetamine, and psychedelic mushrooms, to manipulate and control his victims, luring them with promises of career advancement and financial support.
First piece that we almost always see in pink or pink cocaine is ketamine, a dissociative drug, something that makes people feel like they're detached from reality. The second component is psychedelics.
Bill Bodner is a former DEA agent. He says despite its name, oftentimes there is no cocaine in the toxic mix of drugs, which includes synthetics like ecstasy, methamphetamine, and benzodiazepines. The drug, also known as 2C, acts as both a stimulant and a depressant.
Very, very cheap to make, and they can kind of tailor the drug to what the drug user is looking for, the perceived effects that the drug user is looking for.
The stark contrast between Diddy's once unshakable public persona and the gravity of these allegations has fueled a media frenzy, turning each new development into a spectacle that blurs the line between legal proceedings and headline-grabbing scandal. Once the epitome of cool composure, he now appears visibly shaken, his response is tinged with emotion as he grapples with the weight of the charges.
Well, I'll tell you that yesterday in court, Sean Diddy Combs showed up smiling. His whole, well, not his whole family, his children, all of his children and his mother who traveled from Florida were there. Oftentimes he would turn around and look at them at the end of the hearing. He was blowing kisses at them and saying thank you. He was comforted by his attorneys. It was odd to see him smile so much. It seemed like he was optimistic, and many of us were wondering whether he would be bailed out, but there is still a bail appeal pending in his case after a judge had rejected a $50 million bail package.
Some legal insiders speculate that Diddy's emotional unraveling may be a strategic move by his defense to garner public sympathy. Or perhaps it's a genuine reflection of the immense personal toll these allegations have taken on him.
I'm going to try and minimize the amount of time he spends in very, very difficult and I believe inhumane housing conditions in the special housing unit of the Metropolitan Detention Facility. And I'm going to do everything that I can to move his case as quickly as possible.
While some dismiss the recordings as mere distractions, others argue they could be the key to uncovering a broader pattern of behavior that has shaped Diddy's career for years.
And he was 19 when he got that job, and he rose to this really senior role as talent director. So that's where he got his start. And Jimmy was basically describing to me how Sean Combs had a bit of a temper. You know, he used the language that Sean Combs acted like a bratty kid in the office. You know, if he didn't get his way, he would bang his hands on the table. You know, he would start yelling, like this kind of immature, naive 19-year-old. And, Jimmy was thinking about some of those incidents. And, at the end of our interview, when I spoke with him, he sort of said to me something that many people have been saying. They've been questioning, did I know the real Sean Combs, a man who has constantly reinvented himself over the decades? And he said something really poignant. He said to me, you know what, Rihanna, people can think that Sean Combs is a monster.
Detained at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center, Diddy's fate now hinges on his impending trial, set for May 5th in Manhattan Federal Court. This highly anticipated proceeding is poised to become a landmark moment in the ongoing debate over accountability in the entertainment industry.
U.S. judge has ruled that the rapper and producer Sean Diddy Combs will stand trial on federal striking and racketeering charges in May. He'll be held in prison until then. Sean Combs has pleaded not guilty to charges that he used his business empire to transport women and male sex workers across state lines to take part in recorded sexual performances. If convicted, he could face a life sentence.
Diddy's attorney, Mark Agnifilo, remains steadfast in his defense, insisting that his client is fully committed to fighting the charges. He argues that the evidence presented so far is a blatant misinterpretation of consensual interactions. As the trial date approaches, the courtroom atmosphere increasingly resembles a high-stakes drama, where every whispered exchange and fleeting glance fuels media speculation and ignites public debate.
Sean Combs' son Christian, known professionally as King Combs, held his grandmother's hand as they left the courthouse with his other siblings.
We want to hear from you. Anything you want to say at this point.
Judge Arun Subramanian acknowledged that his mother Janice Combs came from Florida for her son, and that his kids also traveled to be in the same courtroom with him. Combs' attorney Anthony Rico sat by his side throughout the proceeding. He's handling the appeal of his bail denial, which is a separate case in the appeals court.
He's making an adjustment. He had his family here today to support him. We really want to put an end to all of the clowning that we see on the internet. This is a serious proceeding with serious consequences.
Since Diddy's arrest in September, many celebrities have remained conspicuously silent. Once deeply connected to Hollywood's elite and the music industry, Diddy had crossed paths with nearly every major star, some merely acquaintances, others active participants in his infamous parties, and perhaps even his alleged crimes. In today's world, silence is a celebrity's greatest liability, and for many, the consequences of staying quiet are becoming painfully clear.
Since Diddy's arrest in September, many celebrities have been suspiciously quiet. Diddy was connected with almost everyone in the Hollywood elite and the music industry. Almost every celebrity had met him at some point, and many had gone even further, joining his parties and perhaps even his crimes. In this day and age, silence is a celebrity's greatest enemy, and unfortunately many of them are learning this the hard way.
Every celebrity connected to Diddy was, in some way, under his influence. He was known for collecting dirt and leverage on those around him, with rumors swirling that even Jay-Z feared what Diddy might have on him. Allegedly, Diddy kept a trove of compromising tapes, powerful enough to expose some of the biggest names in entertainment, politics, sports, and even members of the British royal family.
Anybody came out defending Diddy. All these celebrity friends he have, and nobody came out.
They brand. It's all about the money. They saw what he did to Cassie. With the kicking, the punching. They saw what they did to Cassie. They know did nobody in America like that. So now, these people are represented by a brand. Whether it's something about the music, clothing, movies. They're not gonna come out and speak on nothing that has anything to do with them, and they praying that they not on the tape doing crazy stuff, being oiled up in the whole 9 yards. They praying. So until the feds say, hey, yo, listen here. We got you on, hey buddy, we got you on this tape, and girl looked like she was pretty young. We're not gonna show it, but we need you to come and testify against Brother Love, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, you know, Sean Combs. That's when they're gonna start talking. And they're not gonna be talking in his favor. When the feds come to them and show them what they got on tape, because if he had 250 tapes all over, 250 cameras all over the house, somebody got caught stealing a cookie out the cookie jar. It could be your favorite pastor. It could be your favorite politician. But they didn't think they was being watched. And Brother Love was watching.
Yeah, I mean, T.D. Jakes, he haven't even came out and said anything. And him and Diddy was real cool.
Amen. Amen. Yeah, man. And I know the people in the congregation over there is shaking in their boots because this man then led them probably, allegedly led them to damnation, because those people's hearts are going to be broken if that man is seen on those tapes doing anything. Because people always put their faith in the pastor instead of putting their faith in God. And what they need to do is understand that he's just a man. And he has a history. It's not looking too good for him.
So you feel like celebs are worried that they might be on tape?
Oh, they know. That's why they ain't speaking up or saying nothing. Yeah, I was at a Diddy party, but I know I ain't do nothing. When you don't know somebody's taping you, when you don't know that somebody is videoing you in some kind of form or fashion, you got that alcohol, you got the drugs in you, they're a little loose, bruh. They let down all their inhibitions. The music is pumping. He said it himself. He got it so hot in there that you gotta take your clothes off. He said that himself, bruh.
Is Diddy telling the truth? Could this be the final puzzle piece in hip-hop's greatest murder mystery? Or is it simply a desperate attempt by a man trying to save himself by bringing down one of the most powerful figures in entertainment?
This is the first time that I'm speaking about it. Something that I'll never forget, actually.
It's the brand new interview that could blow the Diddy case wide open.
He was responsible for Diddy's day-to-day life, so he is able to provide a lot of information about what that life was like. He goes into detail on extensive drug use.
For the first time, Diddy's senior executive assistant, Phil Pines, is revealing what he witnessed for 3 years while working for the jailed music mogul.
I think my life changed a lot from that day, and I've never really recovered from it.
But he says the term freak-offs was new to him.
And he also provides a lot of information about what we have come to know as freak-offs, but what Phil says were called wild king nights. He gives a lot of information about these group sex parties, what the setup for them required, what the cleanup for them was like, which is one of the most disturbing aspects.
We did not realize the extent of the darkness.
Journalist Mara Escampo interviewed the Diddy insider, who sued his former boss, alleging sexual harassment and sexual battery in this 32-page civil suit filed in LA.
And I know you said he explained all of the items that were involved in these Wild King nights. Did he mention
who would participate as well.
A lot of them were unknown to him. He did mention that a lot of the women were very, very young as 20, not underage, but certainly young women.
Did Phil explain why he's speaking out now?
He said he's speaking out because he believes Diddy's a predator. He wants accountability, and he doesn't want someone like this to run unchecked in the future.
The highly anticipated 30-minute sit-down interview airs tonight after the two-part finale of ID Discovery's bombshell 4-part docuseries, The Fall of Diddy.
The federal indictment says that these sex parties were filmed, and one of Phil's key responsibilities was to delete those. He was to scrub any digital video evidence of these events. Why? Because these are the same devices that other people in Diddy's life were using.
He said, "I'm Puff Daddy, I'll eat your face off."
If you're eager to unravel every twist in this maze of rumors and revelations, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. The truth is coming, and you won't want to miss a single moment.